A school shooting here in the metro shook the community back in 2011. A Millard South graduate who lived through it has turned that traumatic experience into a message of vulnerability and belonging.
Our Bella Caracta shares his story.
In January of 2011, gunshots rippled through Millard South. Grief and trauma soon followed. Kyler Erickson was among the students mourning the loss of their assistant principal. She was gunned down by a student who later that day killed himself. Now, more than a decade later, Erickson carries that day with him.
I do still think about it quite a bit, nearly every day. What's really beneficial about therapy and counseling is that it no longer cripples me.
His message aligns with Omaha-based mental health and suicide prevention organization, the Kim Foundation.
One of my favorite things that he said is, "You matter more than you'll ever know." And I think a lot of youth in the room probably needed to hear that.
Erickson shared just how bad his mental health got one day while he was at Lake Zorinsky.
I was sitting there really struggling with the PTSD and the depression, and you know, I wondered just how painful could it be to drive into that lake.
The ability to share some of the most vulnerable parts of his life is one of the reasons the Kim Foundation invited him to be its second annual Empower Youth Summit keynote speaker. After a moving presentation, the next step, find the resources in the community.
We have tried to incorporate a lot of different ways for them to take a moment for themselves so they're not just in content-driven sessions all day.
And Erickson's message was well received by an engaged crowd of more than 400 students representing over 30 metro high schools.
The vulnerability, I've always thought that's where the heroism lies.
That heroism motivated students shortly after to share their own stories of struggle with Erickson. And he encourages them to help others in the future. On your side, Bella Caracta, 6 News.